Hey guys, welcome again to the Maths Club. So in this particular video, we're going to be looking at solutions of linear equations. If you have not subscribed to our channel, this is a good time to actually hit the subscribe button and like our videos and interact with all of our content. And if you know somebody that these videos can help, please hit the share button and share them the link to this particular channel. So before we begin, in one of the previous videos, we already talked about solutions of linear equation. If you look at the first video in this particular series, I touched on a portion of it, but in this case we're taking it a step further by looking at simultaneous equations. For simultaneous equations, there are three methods that we can use to solve them. We can use the elimination method, we can use the substitution method, or we can use the graphical method. I'm going to use each of these different methods one after the other. So for the elimination method is also known as addition or subtraction method. What are we doing here? We are just eliminating one variable. We could have like two variables, maybe a variable x and a variable y. So we try to eliminate one of them by adding or subtracting equations to find the values of the remaining variables. So that's basically what we're going to be doing. And what are the steps that we're going to take? First step is that we'll write the equation, our equation 1 and our equation 2. We will then arrange the equations. We'll make sure the x are on one vertical line and the y's are on one vertical line, and then the whole numbers are on another vertical line. Then we'll eliminate one variable, maybe the x. If we eliminate one variable, we'll be left with another variable, which is maybe y. In that case, we'll solve for the remaining variable, the one that remains, and for that, when we find y, we can also find what x is. And all these things, I know it's a bit abstract, but by the time we put pen to paper, you'll see it in action. And then when you're done, always try to check a solution with the two equations. What the value of x, the value of y. If I put it inside the equation 1, will I get the value at the right hand side? If I put it inside the equation 2, will I get the value at the right hand side? And if you can get the values, you're good to go. So let's look at an example. This example says that if x plus 2y is equal to 1 and x minus y is equal to 2, we should find the value of x. I want us to solve this one together since this is the first example. So we know equation 1 is x plus 2y is equal to 1, and then equation 2 is x minus y is equal to 2. So this is equation 2. Look at this now. If I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add x plus x is 2x, plus 2y plus times minus is minus, abi? So plus 2y minus y, that will give me y. You can see that when I added, I say add x and I say add y, which is not what I want. I want to eliminate one of them. But instead of adding, if I subtract, x minus x will give me 0. Plus 2y, then minus times minus will give me plus. So plus 2y plus y, that will give me plus 3y, is equal to 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 will give me minus 1. So for me, I can say 3y is equal to minus 1. And if I divide both sides by 3, my y is just equal to minus 1 over 3. So you can see, just by eliminating, that's what we call it addition or subtraction method, I have what my value of y is. So if I want to find the value of x, I can just pick any of these equations and substitute and get the value of x. I think I'll pick equation 2. So I'll just say substituting y in equation 2. So that will be x minus y here is minus 1 over 3. So I'll put this in bracket, minus 1 over 3 is equal to 2. Right, so that will be x plus 1 over 3 is equal to 2. And this is like saying x is equal to 2 minus 1 over 3. Which is same thing as saying 1 whole number 2 over 3. So this is basically it about this particular question. You can say therefore our x is equal to 1 whole number 2 over 3, and then our y is equal to minus 1 over 3. So now that we know what these values are, so this 1 whole number 2 over 3 is same thing as saying 5 over 3. Now the question now says that we should find the value of x plus y. Don't forget that x plus y will now be equal to 5 over 3 plus times minus will be minus, so minus 1 over 3. And if you find the LCM of this, the LCM is 3. 3 and 3 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Minus 3 and 3 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So this give you 4 over 3. So therefore, x plus y is equal to 1 whole number 1 over 3 or 4 over 3. So this is basically how we solve this particular question. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great, 1 whole number 1 over 3. Now second example says that we should solve for the values of x and y in the simultaneous equations below. We have 4x plus 5y is equal to 22 and 5x plus 3y is equal to 21. I want us to actually solve this one again together. So we have this. If I say this is my equation 1 and this is my equation 2. If I had 4 plus 5, that will give me 9. 5 plus 3, that will give me 8. If I subtract 4 minus 5, that will give me minus x. 5 minus that will give me 2y. You can see that there's nothing I will do that will make one of them to eliminate. In that case, I can decide that I want to eliminate x. What will I do? You know, before it was easy for us to eliminate the x in that previous example because that was x and this was x. So just x. So x minus just give us 0. But in this case, it's not going to be easy. So what I have to do is I have to ensure that this 4, where the coefficient of x in equation 1 and the coefficient of x in equation 2 are the same. But how will I do that? The coefficient of x in equation 2 is 5, Abi. So I'll multiply equation 1 by that 5. And the coefficient of x in equation 1 is 4. So I'll multiply equation 2 by that 4. If we do that, 5 times 4 is 20. So this is 20x plus 5 times 5 is 25. This will be 25y is equal to 22 times 5. That will give you 110. 5 times 4 will give me 20x plus 4 times 3 will give me 12y is equal to 21 times 4 will give me 84. So it is very legal to do this because you are multiplying both the left hand side and the right hand side by the same value. It's very legal to do this. Now I can now subtract. So if I subtract 20 minus 20, this will give me 0, plus 25 minus 12, this will give me 13y, and then 110 minus 84, that will give me 26. So this is 13y is equal to 26. I can divide both sides by 13. I know that my y is equal to 2. Now that my y is equal to 2, I can substitute the y into any of these equations. So it's always better to use the simpler equations instead of me using the ones that are done minus 5, so that my values are not too large. So let me just say substituting y in equation 1. So this one here, this was our equation 3, this is our equation 4, right? And what to do there was equation 3 minus equation 4. So you need to be very explicit what I'm saying. I know I skipped that part, right? So if I substitute equation, whenever I see y, I'll put 2. That will be 4x plus 5 open bracket 2 is equal to 22, and 4x plus 10 is equal to 22. So 4x will be equal to 22 minus 10. So our 4x will be equal to 12. If I divide both sides by 4, what will my x be? My x will be equal to 3. So therefore, x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. So that's basically it about this particular question. Let's see if our answer is correct. Great. So our x is equal to 3 and now y is equal to 2. Next question is taken from WAEC 2011, and I want you to solve this one by yourself. It says solve the equation 3x minus 2y is equal to 7 and x plus 2y is equal to minus 3. Pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we have 3x minus 2y is equal to 7 as our equation 1, and x plus 2y is equal to minus 3 as our equation 2. So you can see minus 2y and plus 2y, they have the same coefficients. So if I say minus 2y plus 2y, I mean the y will be, it will be gone. So that was like saying equation 1 plus equation 2. So 3x plus x, that will give me 4x. Minus 2y plus 2y, this will give me plus 0, is equal to 7 plus times minus will give me minus. So 7 minus 3, that will give me 4. So what I have here is 4x is equal to 4. If I divide both sides by 4, what will my x be? My x will be equal to 1. So that's my value of x now. I'll substitute x in any of the equation. Let me say in equation 2, because equation 2 is looking easier. So that will be 1 plus 2y is equal to minus 3. And then if I carry over this 1 to this, that will be minus 3 minus 1. That will be 2y is equal to minus 4. And if I divide both sides by 2, my y will be equal to minus 2. So therefore, our x is equal to 1, then our y is equal to minus 2. So that's basically it about this particular question. If you got this value, I think it should be correct. Let's see if we're correct. So x is equal to 1, y is equal to minus 2. Great. Next example says that if x plus 0.4y is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1 over 2x, find the value of x plus y. I want you to pause the video and just try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we have x plus 0.4y is equal to 3 as our equation 1. And then, so this y is equal to 1 over 2x. Remember, I said we should rearrange it. So the x should be on the same place and the y should be. So if I carry this y to the other side, that will be 1 over 2x, so this will be minus y, is equal to, you agree with me that there will not be anything here, so that will be equal to 0. So equation 2. So for me to subtract these two, either the x or the y must have the same coefficients. If I wanted to make the x have the same coefficient, I would multiply the equation 1 by half, and I'll multiply the equation 2 by 1, because the coefficient of x in equation 1 is 1. That will give me half x plus half times 0.4 is 0.2y is equal to 3 over 2. And then this is 1 over 2x minus y is equal to 0. So these are equation 3 and these are equation 4. So I can now say, what can I use? Will it be addition or subtraction? Great, subtraction, because this minus this will go. So this equation 3 minus equation 4. Half x minus half x will be 0. So because it's minus, plus 0.2y, minus times minus will be plus, so plus y, that will give me plus 1.2y. And then 3 over 2 minus 0 is still 3 over 2. So what I have here is 1.2y is equal to 3 over 2 is 1.5. Right? So if I divide both sides by 1.2 to make the y stand alone, what would this give me? 1.5 divided by 1.2 is 1.25. So therefore our y is equal to 1.25. So if you know what our y is, we can find what our x is. 1.25 is same thing as saying or 5 over 4. Now that we know what our y is, we can find what our x is by substituting into any of these old. So I'll just substitute to equation 1, which is x plus 0.4y is equal to 3. So I'll just say substituting y in equation 1. So anywhere I see y, I'll put 1.25. So that will be x plus 0.4 open bracket 1.25 is equal to 3. So x plus, if you multiply these two, you have 0.5 is equal to 3. So x is equal to 3 minus 0.5, and that will give me 2.5. So therefore our x is equal to 2.5, and then our y is equal to 1.25. Just one simple step, which would be x plus y is equal to 2.5 plus 1.25. By the time you add these two together, this will give you what? 3.75. And 3.75 is something as saying 15 over 4 or 15 over 4. How else can we represent this? We could also say, or what? 3 whole number 3 over 4. So any of these three representations would actually fly. Let's see if we're correct. Great, so 3 whole number 3 over 4. Now, in case you don't like the elimination method, this is another substitute method of solving the same problem called the substitution method. What does it involve? It involves solving one equation for one variable and substituting that expression into the other equation to solve for the remaining variable. Don't worry, you'll see it with example. So the step is, first thing, choose one equation, maybe equation 1 or equation 2, and solve for one variable. Maybe make the y sub the formula. When you do that, you substitute that y that you got into the other equation, and then you solve for the remaining variable, and then you find the value of the other variable, and then you check your solution. I know that in the previous example I've not been checking my solution, but you should maybe check your solution. I'll try and remember to do this in this particular example. So let's see this example. It says that solve the equation 4x minus y is equal to 11, 5x plus 2y is equal to 4. Let's solve this together. So we have 4x minus y is equal to 11 as our equation 1, and then 5x plus 2y is equal to 4 as our equation 2. So we're using substitution method. It's better for me to make y sub the formula from equation 1. So I could say from equation 1, I will say minus y is equal to 11 minus 4x. So I want to make y stand alone. That will be y, I'll just divide both sides by minus. That will be y is equal to minus 11 plus 4x. Or I could say y is equal to 4x minus 11. I can change it like that. So these are equation 3. So because I got y from this equation 1, I'll substitute this equation 3 in the other equation, which is equation 2. I can't go back and substitute this equation 1. That is nonsense. So substituting equation 3 in equation 2, what is that going to give us? Anywhere we see y, we'll put 4x minus 11. So we'll have 5x plus 2 open brackets, 4x minus 11 is equal to 4. Let's expand the bracket. That will give us 5x plus 8x minus 22 is equal to 4. So let's correct like terms. 5x plus 8x is 13x minus 22 is equal to 4. So that will be 13x is equal to 4 plus 22, and then our 13x will be equal to 26, right? So if we know that our 13 is equal to 26, we can divide both sides by 13 and find our x. So therefore our x is equal to 2. So we now have the value for x, but also have the formula for y. So we can substitute x in equation what? Equation 3 to find y. So that will be y will be equal to 4 open bracket 2 minus 11, which is 8 minus 11, which is equal to minus 3. So we know that therefore our x is equal to 2 and then our y is equal to minus 3. So whenever you have a answer like this, just maybe in your rough paper, we said our x is equal to what? Our x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 3. So we said x is equal to 2, y is equal to minus 3. In your scrap sheets, just put the value of x here and put the value of y and see if you have 11. So I'll press that as my calculator. That will be 4 times 2 minus our y is minus 3, so minus 3, and this gave me 11. Fine, I'll check the second equation again, put x there and put y there. So that is 5 times 2 plus 2 times minus 3. That gave me 4. Great, that means that my answer is actually correct. That's what they mean by check your answer. If you can substitute the value of x and y and get this value, substitute the value of x and y and get this value for both equations, your answer is correct. So now let's check if our answer is correct, although we already know it's correct. Great, so x is equal to 2 and y is equal to minus 3. Next example is that we solve for x and y if x over 2 plus y over 4 is equal to half, and x over 3 minus y over 5 is equal to 1 over 9. I want you to pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back, let's solve it together. So this is a bit different, right? And when you see something like this, you always don't want to just work with all this fraction. So let's try and simplify this first example. So we have x over 2 plus y over 4 is equal to 1 over 2. If you find the LCM of 2, 4, and 2, in fact, you can check the video that we have done on how to find the LCM and HCF, which will appear at the top right of your screen right now. So for us to find the LCM of 2, 4, and 2, the LCM is actually 4. Given that, we will now multiply this equation, the entire equation, by that LCM, so that we will not have anything that has to do with fraction. So x over 2 times 4 will give me 2x, plus y over 4 times 4 will give me y, is equal to 1 over 2 times 4 will give me 2. So you can see how very easy this particular equation is. So this is our equation 1. Same thing too for x over 3 minus y over 5 is equal to 1 over 9. What's the LCM of all these guys? The LCM of all these guys is 45, right? So I'll multiply this entire equation by 45 so that I will not even deal with fractions at all. X over 3 times 45 will give me 15x minus y over 5 times 45. What would that give me? That would give me 9. So minus 9y is equal to 1 over 9 times 45 will give me 5. So this is our equation 2. We have these two. So I could say from equation 1, I can make y disrupt the formula because that is very easy. So that will be y is equal to 2 minus 2x, and that will be my equation 3. So I'll substitute equation 3 in the other equation, which is equation what? 2. Great. That'll be 15x minus 9 open brackets 2 minus 2x is equal to 5. So that is 15x minus 9 times 2, that will give me minus 18. Minus 9 times minus 2x, that will give me plus 18x is equal to 5. So 15x plus 18x, that will give me what? That will give me 33x is equal to 5. This one will convert, so that will be 5 plus 18. So 33x is equal to 18 plus 5, that will give you 23. So if I divide both sides by 33, our x is equal to what? 23 over 33. Now that we know what our x is, we can easily find what our y is. So we can substitute x in equation what? Equation 3. So if I substitute x in equation 3, where I see x, I'll put 23 over 33. So that is y is equal to 2 minus 2 times 23 over 33. And this is like saying 2 minus 46 over 33. So the LCM here is 33. So this is over 1. 33, 1 is 33 times 2, that is 66 minus 33 is 1. 1 minus 46 is 46. So this will give me 20 over 33. So we can say therefore our x is equal to 23 over 33, and then our y is equal to 20 over 33. So that's basically it. Let's see if you actually got it right. Great. So one thing that you need to know is that whenever I give you something like this, just try to multiply through by the LCM of the denominator, so that you are working with things like this guy, which is easier to process than things like this. Next example says that in a simultaneous equation, px plus qy is equal to 5, qx plus py is equal to minus 10. P and q are constants, and it says if x is equal to 1 and y is equal to minus 2 is a solution of the equations, we should find p and q. This take from 2004. I want you to pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we have the first equation, which is px plus qy is equal to 5. You know, this says something that x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2 is a solution. So that means that we have one solution, which is 1 comma minus 2. Abi, this first one is talking about the x, and the second one is talking about the y. So because there is a solution for it, I can put x as 1. If I put x as 1 times p is p, plus q times, and I can put y as minus 2 is equal to 5. So our first equation here is p minus 2q is equal to 5. So this is our equation 1. From the second guy, we had qx plus py is equal to minus 10. Let's substitute. So that will be q plus p times minus 2 is equal to minus 10. So q minus 2p is equal to minus 10. So let's put it about, look at, p comes first here, q comes first here, so we have to rearrange. That will be minus 2p plus q is equal to 10 minus 10, right? Because that should be in the same format. So that will be minus 2p plus q is equal to minus 10, and this is our equation 2. So what can we do? I can make p of the formula for my equation 1. So from equation 1, I'll say p is equal to 5 plus 2q, which is equation 3. So I'll substitute equation 3 in equation 2. Anywhere I see p, I'll put 5 plus 2q. So that is minus 2 open brackets, 5 plus 2q plus q is equal to minus 10. So let's open the bracket. That will be minus 10 minus 4q plus q is equal to minus 10. So minus 10 minus 4q plus q will give me minus 3q is equal to minus 10. Let's take like terms. That will be minus 3q is equal to minus 10 plus 10. So minus 3q is equal to minus 10 plus 10 is 0. So if I divide that by minus 3, of course our q is equal to 0. And if our q is equal to 0, we can substitute it in equation 3 and find the value of p. So substituting q in equation 3, so that is p is equal to 5 plus 2 open bracket 0, which is 5 plus 0, which is equal to 5. So we can say therefore our p is equal to 5 and our q is equal to 0. Is that what they said we should find? Yes, find p and q. So our p is equal to 5 and then our q is equal to 0. So you can also check your answer and put p as 5, q as 0 inside this equation and see if we're going to have 5. Of course, p is 5, q is 0. All this guy will turn to 0. So 5 minus 0 give me 5. And p is 5, so minus 2 times 5, that's 10, plus q is 0, that will give me minus 10. So our answer is actually correct. But let's confirm that. Great, so p is equal to 5, q is equal to 0. Example 8 says that we should solve the simultaneous equation x plus y is equal to 2 and 3x minus 2y is equal to 1. This is from 2007. I want you to pause the video and try this out yourself. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we have x plus y is equal to 2 and 3x minus 2y is equal to 1. We're using substitution method. So these are equation 1 and equation 2. So I could say from equation 1, x is equal to 2 minus y, which would be our equation 3. So I'll substitute equation 3 in which equation? Great, in equation 2. So that would be 3 open bracket 2 minus y minus 2y is equal to 1. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times y is 3y minus 2y is equal to 1. So 6 minus 3y minus 2y will give me minus 5y is equal to 1. So minus 5y is equal to 1 minus 6. Minus 5y is equal to minus 5, Abi? And then y would just be equal to what? 1. Because if I divide both sides by minus 1, my y will be equal to 1. So I can substitute y in equation 3. So x is equal to 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So therefore, x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1. So that's what the question said we should find. Let's see if our answer is correct. So x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1. If you got that, well done to you. Next stop looking at is the graphical method. So the graphical method is a technique used to solve systems of linear equations by visually representing the equations as lines on the coordinate planes. and determining the intersection points of these two lines. So where they intersect, where those two lines intersect is our point of focus, and those points, they represent the solution of the system. So what are the steps? We should graph the equation, identify the intersection points, read the coordinates of the intersection point, and then check a solution if it is correct. This example says that we should solve the equation 3x minus 2y is equal to 7 and x plus 2y is equal to minus 3. We've solved this particular question using one of the previous methods. I think it was elimination method. But now we want to use the graphical method to solve it. So to solve this, we have to do something interesting. We have to make y sub the formula for each of the equations. So for equation 1, this is 3x minus 2y is equal to 7. If I want to make y sub the formula, that will be minus 2y is equal to 7 minus 3x. And if I divide both sides by minus 2, right, my y will be equal to, I can swap these positions and say it will be 3x minus 7 all over 2. You can confirm this. So this is our first equation of y. Now our second equation of y is x plus 2y is equal to minus 3. So let's make y standard. That will be 2y is equal to minus 3 minus x. If I divide both sides by 2, that means our y is equal to minus 3 minus x all over 2. So this is our second equation. Now that we know this, because a linear equation is a straight line, so for me to actually plot this graph, I need a negative point and maybe any other points. I could say when x is 0 and x is equal to maybe a positive number or two positive number, but I would just use three points. So when x is equal to a negative number, so when x goes to, let's say, minus 2, when x is equal to 0, and then when x is equal to a positive number, let's say 4. You could use any numbers that you choose to, right? So when x is equal to minus 2, so that would be 3 times minus 2. I'm solving for this first equation. 3 times minus 2 minus 7 divided by 2, that is minus 6.5. So y here is minus 6.5. When x is equal to 0, what is y? Y is equal to minus 3.5. And then when x is equal to 4, what is y? Y is equal to 2.5. Just pick numbers that they give you y values that you can easily find on the graph. Don't go and pick one that will say minus 6.15 or minus 6.039. No, pick something that will give you values that are easily pickable on the graph. So that is, I have the points for this first guy. So the points for the second guy, so I'll come here and say when x, let me still maintain the same point. So when x is minus 2, when x is 0, when x is 4. So by the time I draw this line, so this is y. So when x is minus 2, so minus 3 plus 2 divided by 2, that will give you minus 0.5. When x is 0, y is equal to minus 1.5. So minus 7 divided by 2, that will give you minus 3.5. So you can say I can easily find all these points on the graph sheets. Please be very, very careful about the points that you use. So with that, we are going to plot it on our graph sheets. So we have this. The first thing you want to notice is that what is the lowest negative number? The lowest negative number in these two, this from the first equation, this from the second equation, the lowest negative number is minus 6.5. And what is the highest positive number? The highest positive number from these two is 2.5. So let's count. How many points do we have on this y-axis and this x-axis? So how many points do we have on the y-axis? These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13. And we are going as low as minus 6.5 and 2.5. So if let's say if I picked this point, say, as 0, so this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that will not work. But if I put this place as 0, or if I put this as 0, so this would be 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7. Okay, that's good. And this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So it will cover minus 6.5 and to cover 2.5. So let me draw this place here. So this point here, where the x-axis and the y-axis meets, this will be my point 0. So I could label this as my y-axis, and I could label this as my x-axis. So on the x-axis, I chose minus 2, 0, and 4. So if this is 0, this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, great. To the left of this place here will be my negative. To the right of this place will be my positive. So this will be minus 1, minus 2. Okay, so this will be, this point here will be 1, this point here will be 2, this point here will be 3, this point here will be 4, this point here will be 5, this point here will be 6. So I think I'm good. Same thing too. On this vertical, this place here will be negative and this top here will be positive. So this will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So here will be 1, 2, 3. So let me just leave it like that. And this top part here also will be 4. On the x-axis, what is our scale? So if you look at this place here, all this place here is, if you, let's measure it and see. From here to here, you can see that this is 2 centimeter, Abi? And then 2 centimeter represents how many units? This is 1 unit. One, you can see it's increasing by 1, 1, 1. So I'll just say for the x-axis, 2 centimeter represents 1 unit. And then for the y-axis too, 2 centimeter also represents 1 unit. You can see 1, 1, 1 is increasing by 1, 1, 1. So 2 centimeter represents 1 unit. You need to write the scale, which is very, very important to document all of these things. So now that we know this, we know that when x is equal to -2, y is equal to -6.5. So let's see. This is x, this is -2. This is y, this is -6. So this is -6, this is -7. So how does it go? So this is -6.1, -6.2, -6.3, -6.4, -6.5, right? Because we are continuing -6.6, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, -7. So you can see. So this is -6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5. So these are our first points. So we'll mark it. I'll just mark it with a dot. Or let me just use a cross to mark it. Great. Our second point is when x is 0, y is -3.5. So when x is 0, y is -3.5. So this is -3. So I'll go again, -3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. So I've gotten it at this point here. So I'll just mark it. Just to be sure, -3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. Great. When x is 4, y is 2.5. So when x is 4, y is 2.5. So this is 2. So this one is going upwards because this is 2, this is 3. So this is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. So it's this place here. So I'll just mark it. Although for this thing, you only need like 2 points and you're good to go. So I can join it now. It's best to use a very long ruler. So you can see that they will always be on the same line because it's a linear graph. Can you see that? So if I join these 3 points together, just to be sure I have the right thing. Okay, great. So if I join these 3 points together, you don't need to double shade it, just one strong line is good enough. So this is for line y is equal to 3x minus 7 divided by 2. So this is the line for that equation. So let's go to the second equation. The second equation is when x is -2, y is -0.5. So when x, this is -2, y is -0.5. So I'm coming down. So this is -0.1, -0.2, -0.3, -0.4, -0.5. So this is our position here. So I'll just mark it. Great. And it says when x is equal to 0, y is equal to -1.5. So when x is equal to 0, y is equal to -1.5. So I'm coming down here. So this is -1.1, -1.2, -1.3, -1.4, -1.5. So this is the position here. So I'll mark. And then when x is equal to 4, y is equal to -3.5. So when x is equal to 4, y is equal to -3.5. So it's between -3 and -4. So this is -3.1, -3.2, -3.3, -3.4, -3.5. So this is the position here. So I'll just mark it. Now that I have these 3 positions, I can now join it with a straight line. I think it's a bit off by a very small distance, but that's fine. So our y is equal to -3 minus x all over 2. So what we need to do is, where do these 2 lines, where do they intersect? So I think because mine shifted a little bit, it's meant to intersect here, right? It's meant to intersect here. And that is, what is that point? X is equal to 1 and y is equal to -2. So with the points where they intersect, I can just draw a short line like this and just trace it up. So with short dashes, and then this place here with short dashes too. Great. So you can see here x is equal to, I can just say, what is my x? My x is equal to 1, comma, what is my y? My y is equal to -2. So from this equation here, we can just say, therefore, from the graph, x is equal to 1, and then y is equal to -2. So this is how we actually solve a question like this using graphical method. So we have x is equal to 1 and y is equal to -2. Great. So that is it about the graphical method. Next example says that we should solve the following simultaneous equations: 3y minus 2x equal to 21, 4y plus 5x is equal to 5. This is WAEC 1999. I want you to pause the video and try it out using the graphical method. Welcome back. Let's solve it together. So we have 3y minus 2x is equal to 21. So I want to maybe just make y sub the formulas. That would be 3y is equal to 21 plus 2x. And if I divide both sides by 3, this is like saying 21 divided by 3 plus 2x divided by 3. Yeah? So our y would be equal to 7 plus 2x over 3. So I'm going to like draw a table for the x values. I'll just use 3 points, where the middle point is definitely going to be when x is equal to 0. So for this one, I tried different values that would I just wanted something that would give me something that would just be an whole number. So I just picked multiples of 3, because any multiple of 3 would, by the time I use a multiple of 3, 2x will become an whole number. So yeah, I used -3 and 3, right? You have to be very, very smart when you picking values like that. 7 plus 2 times -3 divided by 3, that will give you 5. So y is 5. When x is 0, y is going to be 7. And then when x is 3, y is going to be 9. So we have 5, 7, and 9. So we have our points for this. And then for the 4y plus 5x is equal to 5. Remember, it's not compulsory to use the same exact points I use. So I'll make y sub the formula. That will be 4y is equal to 5 minus 5x. And if I divide both sides by 4. So let me draw up my points. So for this, I decided to use something very simple. When x is -1, 0, and 1. Remember, you can use anything that you want. Just ensure that you have values here that you can easily find on the graph sheets. So if x is equal to -1, so that will be 5 minus 5 times -1. Divide this by 4. This gives me 2.5. When x is equal to 0, this will give you 1.25. And then when x is equal to 1, this will give you 0. So I have the points that I'll plot for the first guy and the points I'll plot for the second guy. So let's go into the graph sheet and plot it out. The least negative number that we have is -3, and the highest is 3. So that's fine. So we need to put like 3 spaces here and at least 3 spaces here. That's fine. For the y, the highest y value that we have here is 9, and the lowest that we have is 0. Okay, so that's fine. So there's no negative y. So we're good to go. So I could just pick any place here. I could just say, let me use this place here. This will give me, if I use it, this will be -1, -2, -3. Okay, that's fine. So this I could just use here. So the point where the two lines meet is our 0 position, or the origin. So I'll put 0 here. And this is my y-axis, and this is my x-axis. So for this place here, I could just say -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're not given a scale in the question, you have to think of the scale that will work best for the graph sheet that you're using. So this is like -1, this is -2. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This was bad design. I should have shifted this one downward a little bit, but that's fine. So when x is equal to -3, y is equal to 5. So -3 and 5. X is -3, y is 5. So I'll just mark this point. When x is 0, y is 7. When x is 0, y is 7. So this is the point where I'll mark. And when x is 3, y is 9. So 3, and 9. So I'll just mark this point. So I need to just join this, but before I join, I need to write the scale. So for the scale, 2 centimeter represents 1 unit in the x-axis, and then 2 centimeter represents 1 unit also in the y-axis, because it's 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. If this was 2 2 2, I would have said for the x-axis 2 centimeter represents 2 units. You get, so you need to put the scale. So if I draw this place here, I would have this. So this is the line for which one? You need to specify this line for y is equal to 7 plus 2x or plus 2 over 3x. So this line for 7 plus 2 over 3x. So I also come in again and say y is equal to 5 minus 5x over 4. So when x is equal to minus 1, y is equal to 2.5. So x is minus 1, y is equal to 2.5. So this is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. So this is it here. And when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1.25. X is 0, y is equal to 1.25. Wow. So this is 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So it's between 1.2 and 1.3. So I just mark the between of them, between 1.2 and 1.3. And when x is equal to 1, y is 0. When x is 1, y is 0. So I just mark this point here. Great. So I have my point. So just to draw the line. Great. So this one here is for equation y is equal to 5 minus 5x all over. Great. So where the two of them is, they meet at this point. So I'll just trace it down. Remember, we trace down with dashes. So this point here, I will now replace this is when x is minus 3, comma, y is what? 5. So we could now say, therefore, our solution is minus 3, comma, 5. So when x is equal to minus 3, y is 5. This is solution to our linear graph. And because it's linear, you can see that it's just a straight line. Linear means straight line. So that's the solution to this particular question. Great. So you can see our x is minus 3 and then our y is 5. So that's how you actually solve questions that relate to any of all these methods. You can pick any method that suits your fancy, except if in the exam they now states that you should use a particular method, then you don't have any other choice. Right? So for me, if they did not tell me I should use graphical method, I think I'm going to use other methods to solve it, because graphical method can be strenuous at times. So we've come to the end of this particular video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.